When you have BPD, borderline personality disorder, you deal with twin anxieties: engulfment anxiety, being consumed or taken over, and abandonment anxiety, or the more technical term is separation insecurity. I learned about these terms through Sam Vaknin, a professor of psychology on YouTube. And having these twin anxieties lead to approach avoidance, repetition, compulsion behaviors. For example, the person with borderline wants love so badly, and let's say the partner returns that love. When the partner returns that love, some of the time the person with borderline will feel like that person is consuming them, taking over who they are, and they feel like they lose themselves. So the person with borderline will tend to run away, but once those feelings dissipate, when the distance has begun and there's distance between them, they realize they actually do want that. They do want that love. They want that feeling. Hence the repetition compulsion and that push pull. And for most people with BPD, we do not realize or are not conscious that these are the things that we're doing or the motivations behind it. We truly do not understand. It's taken me basically up until this point to truly understand my behaviors and recognize them for what they are. And for a bit more clarity, engulfment anxiety and the fear of engulfment is the anxiety about losing one's autonomy, sense of self, or individuality within a relationship. It's often associated with the fear of being controlled, dominated, or being too dependent on a partner. And this fear can stem from childhood experiences, particularly in enmeshed family systems where boundaries are blurred. And this is definitely true for myself in my past history as well, is I feel as if I'm losing myself when I'm with somebody. And it's a feeling where almost you feel like you're drowning, and there's almost no way that you feel that you can communicate this adequately or even explain or get a semblance of what this feeling is until you truly do reflection and work on yourself and are able to actually identify behaviors. This sort of thinking process is not conscious, it is subconscious. And while this is similar to the fear of abandonment anxiety, the engulfment is the opposite fear. It's a fear of being swallowed up whole by the partner. So this fear can develop from various childhood experiences, as listed here. For example, overprotective or controlling parents, lack of boundaries, early self-sufficiency. Whereas abandonment anxiety is a form of anxiety characterized by a strong fear of being left, and this can manifest in a multitude of ways. So as you can see, it is quite the paradox. Borderline is being one thing, but also being the other, wanting love so badly, to be loved, to feel that love, but then at the same time being terrified of it in the ways of being engulfed or abandoned. So it's almost like this paradox of constantly going back and forth between these two, of feeling consumed and engulfed by somebody, but then at the same time, you're fearful of being abandoned. And this is just one aspect of BPD, is this twin anxiety, whereas BPD is, if we're talking about it as like a universe, that's like one little star system within the universe of BPD. So you can imagine how challenging and difficult it is when only one aspect is this insane paradox. For me, just even being aware of these twin anxieties and learning more about engulfment anxiety and abandonment anxiety, and how these two types of anxieties kind of play off of one another and we ping pong back and forth, has been extremely helpful and enlightening, because it gave clarity to certain behavior patterns, my thinking process, and how I can jump back and forth between feeling totally engulfed and consumed and afraid and just wanting to run away, and then the complete opposite of that, of feeling like I'll be abandoned or left behind. And it's extremely confusing and overwhelming as the person experiencing it. So having the knowledge and the actual terms behind all of this overwhelming mess is extremely helpful and important. And I hope it was helpful for you too.